Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. It's progression server time, and I'm excited. So you've decided that you want to play a new Everquest progression server. Coming out May 26th is the Mischief server, which has some interesting rule sets, and it's one that I'm actually kind of interested in. So I want to kind of give 5 tips on what to do to have a fun and rewarding experience when playing an Everquest progression server. And the reason why I feel qualified to do this is because I have been playing them since Sleeper. For those of you that don't know, the Sleeper progression server was the first attempt at progression servers. Sleeper launched on Wednesday, June 28th, 2006. Man, have I really been playing the same game for that long? Pantheon Rise of the Fallen needs to come out because this is getting kind of sad. Anyway, so Combine and Sleeper. That was it was kind of like, at the time, I believe it was Sony Online Entertainment, and that was their first foray into this idea of progression servers. So if there's anyone ever ask you which came first, WoW Classic or Everquest progression servers, now you know the answer. Well over 10 years. But yeah, so Combine and Sleeper were the first ones. I started with those. I went pretty far in those progression servers. More recently, I was part of the Finagil progression server for Finagil that launched, I believe, the tail end of 2015. And I was playing consistently in a raiding guild on that server really up until about middle of last year, 2020. So I have more experience playing progression servers than I have work experience at my current job. Yeah, that's how that's gone. One thing to expect with progression servers is they are subject to change. The progression servers in 2006 were very different from the progression servers in 2015, 2016, and the progression servers that are launching this year, or the progression server, because there's only one, is also going to be different. It is going to be the first server with free loot. It is going to be the first server with randomized loot, which is a really interesting thing. And they have tweaked the expansion cadence again. And I think that the current cadence that they have landed on after experimentation with things like Celos and Finagil might be one of their best attempts. So, how to enjoy it? You're already going to do it, right? Well, first thing to know is you do need to have a subscription to Everquest to be able to play on these servers. These are not going to be servers you can just play for free like many of their current regular servers. If you're going to be, that's not what I know right now. First tip, decide what you want out of the game. So what do I mean by this? I mean, decide, do you want to rush to level 50, and is that your achievement? That's your goal, is to be one of the level 50s for Classic, get it done in a month, and then just move on to something else, kind of like a speed run. Is that something you want to do? Do you want to go take it slow? Do you want to have a group that you just kind of enjoy the Classic content with and progress at a steady pace? Do you want to join a top-end raid guild and push that content? Do you want to be one of the top geared in the server? Are you thinking of this long term? Do you want to just, do a couple expansions? Are you wanting to relive some of that nostalgia that you had whenever you played last? That's kind of what you want to figure out before you go into it, because you can kind of make a plan about how to best achieve that and get the most out of the server. Because if you're wanting to do things specifically in like one expansion or the other, the time goes fast, and you don't want to miss it. And one of the things that EverQuest is kind of really bad about is catch up. And kind of working off that first point, set reachable goals. So what are your goals? Know kind of what you think you are going to be able to do so that you're not disappointing yourself. Oh my, you want to be level 50 on the first day? It's probably not going to happen. You want to be level 50 by day 2? Potentially going to happen if you really grind. I mean, set the goals that you are comfortable with so that you'll be excited. Is your goal just to have fun? That should be easy enough, right? Because you're doing it for fun in the first place. So once you have the idea of what you want to get out of the game, set goals to match it. Do you want to find a guild right away? Do you want to find people to group with right away? Those are the kind of things that you set ahead of time. So number 3 for me, and I think this is important for a game like EverQuest, is you need to find a guild. The reason why I say you need to find a guild is because EverQuest, especially on a true box server, is a very social game. Can you solo all the way to 50? Yeah, probably. Kind of depending on your class, it's gonna be tough, but you probably can. But it's the reason why so many of us go back to this game is not for the solo experience, because there are a ton of games that do the solo experience much better than EverQuest does. So I would suggest join a guild. Find out what kind of guild you want to join. Do you want to join a raiding guild? Do you want to join a friends and family guild? Do you want to join just a social guild? There will be at launch a ton of new guilds, and you can seek out which one is right for you. And it's going to be the best way for you to find groups, for you to find help when you have questions, and it's just really, I think, one of the things that will make the entire experience much better for you. And also remember, if you find a guild you don't like, you can leave, and you do not have to participate with those people ever again.
No problem, Redbeard. I was
Number 4, plan ahead. Consider what efforts are going to be required to do what you want to do. So all these, they kind of tie into each other, right? You're planning ahead to meet the goals that you set to get the most out of the game that you decided you wanted to get out of the game. There's a thread of thought here. So yeah, plan ahead. Figure out what you're going to want to do. Think about what times can you play. If you want to join a raid guild, think about when you are able to actually devote the time to raid, because this is not, while Agents of Change will allow you to kind of dictate when you start the raid, that doesn't mean it dictates when the raid ends. And that's something to really keep in mind, especially in Classic, Kunark, Velius, Lucklin, all those first expansions, those raids can be very long. Compared to modern day games, those raids can be very long. And you also want to be able to set aside a decent amount of time for grouping, for experience, things like that, because early EverQuest is not one of those games where you log in for 20 minutes, you make a lot of progress, and you log out. It is a game where 20 minutes is kind of the setup, and then you progress for a little while after that. It's a game that takes commitment, and there's a reward to that. It is why a lot of us play the game and have so much fun with it, but it does mean that you have to consider things, especially now. If you're like me, I'm 33, I have a wife, I have a job, I have a YouTube channel, I have a Twitch, which, by the way, twitch.tv, RedbeardFlynn, I'll probably be streaming some EverQuest. But you have Otherworld commitments. Otherworld, I'm gonna start calling that Otherworld, not real, but Otherworld. Yeah, so you have Otherworld commitments that you have to balance, right? You can't just, and maybe you can just devote all your time to EverQuest, and if you do, congratulations, I guess. Maybe. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. But basically, you need to be able to plan out what you're going to be able to do and how you're going to be able to do it. If you can only raid 1 day a week, try and find a guild that, if they do raid more than once, they do not have attendance policies. plan out what you need to do to meet your goals that you set before, and do the things in game to make that happen. Number 5, if you aren't having fun, quit. That's really the long and short of it. So your investment in this server is going to be about $15, I believe, for a subscription. That's it. I mean, I don't want to say that that's not a substantial commitment, because it is. It's, $15 is still a lot of money. But if you're not having fun, it is not worth pushing to try and make yourself have fun. I've realized that. So there was a progression server in between the two that I tried. I started up on that progression server, and just with the way that my life was at that time, it was not a good time for me to try, and so I found myself just basically wasting time, and Everquest became a job. You don't want Everquest to be a second or third job. The whole point of a video game is to have fun. If you find yourself getting into a place where you are dreading logging in, but you have commitments to a raid guild or a group of friends or things like that, just quit. Do what is right for yourself. Realize that there is an addictive quality to MMOs. It is why so many of us have played these for so long. There is a carrot and a stick, and it's something that it's a formula that works very well for a group of people. But you still have the power to quit whenever you want to. So take it easy. Enjoy it. I think this server is going to be fun. But always keep in the back of your mind that you can just quit if you're not having fun. So those are my tips as someone who has played progression servers mostly on and off since 2006. So hopefully you enjoy. If you want to hang out and play some of the servers with me, come hang out in my Twitch, and we'll group, we'll do stuff. That's one of the great parts of this, is it's going to be social, and I want to group with you. I want to have fun. If you have questions, come ask me. Ask them down here in the comments. And please, if you enjoyed this or found it helpful, like and subscribe. Thank you all so much. Have a great day.